one is about which is the um, earlier presentation or the introduction, I should say. I'm asking that you will come on back and then we're going to continue. I don't know what happened before that nobody was able to respond and no one replied to my request to put a one in the comment box to let me know that they in fact were hearing me. And so I just want to thank the Most High for those that shall return. And again, this broadcast. Hey, Miss Sue, blessings to you. I know, can I, can you see me? No, I can't see you. And I also turned my camera so that you cannot see me. And the reason being is every time I show myself, for some reason, the broadcast begins to mess up. Much better. Johanna, honestly, I didn't even know y'all were gone. I just thank the Most High that He had me ask for you all to put a one in the box. And when nobody did, I then knew that my broadcast was frozen. And so I don't know what all you all heard, but we was talking about how Yah's beauty has been exchanged for the world's. Uh, I'm trying to think of the best word. It has been exchanged for what the world has to offer, which is not always the best gift. It will have a the effect that is good, and it's always it. You say yes. You tried to type. I know. I figured nobody could do it, and no, I couldn't see it. So let me, while you say that, thank you. Let me say hello or hi, salute to Facebook, Twitter, and if I'm on YouTube as well, and of course the family on the Haps app. Also to the young lady I just met not too long ago. I thank you so much for coming. This is so crazy. Hey, Ashley, there's the rest of the family. Blessings to everybody and salute to you all as well. And so let me just go on to say that the world has a standard, or maybe I should say the world offers things that could never measure up to Most High has given to His children. He has told us to be dominion, and have authority here on the earth. So I named this that everything that the Most High, everything that man and woman ever needed was already here on the earth. He made sure that we had it all. And I mentioned that convenience might be somewhat of an enemy to us because when we want to be convenient, convenient was supposed to make things easier for man, but it wasn't supposed to take the place of what the Most High intentions were for man. Meaning, for instance, if we had anything, we were never supposed to put those things ahead of what the Most High had purpose for his people. And so what has happened is that things have become or have gotten so convenient that man might have gotten off into a place of being slightly lazy, slowful, lazy, and too dependent on the things that the enemy really reinvented or took and made it for himself. A lot of things I told you all how fire was not created by the people who was offering it to the indigenous people, but they made these people feel like they had created something if they took a match and flicked it, that great riches were given in exchange for simple things that were all that already belonged to man because they belonged to the Most High first. And so we have been exchanging things that the Most High have given us for a duplicate, a counterfeit, if you will, fake. The first thing I had already named, and you could go back to the first one that I talked about, true beauty. True beauty was given by the Most High for His daughters. He said, I made you wonderful and fearfully made. He said, I know every hair upon your body. I formed you in the womb. I made you. I called you royalty. I anointed you and I appointed you. You are. He said that. Everything. He would give man the ability to really rule the earth. And man has been exchanging his natural right, his birthright, and his inheritance for a pot of porridge. Hey, Cloud9, I didn't see you. How you doing? And so we've been exchanging things along the way for fool's gold. When the Most High said, I created everything, I gave you everything of value, every earthly thing, everything of value. The goodly things of this earth, gold, Anything we could think of has been already given to man, but man keeps exchanging it for something that they think is a more valuable, when they really don't realize that what the Most High created, he created for us all, everything anyway. And what he told us not to touch, that is business. He said, don't touch it. And that's the bottom line. And so man is always giving up something for something that wasn't of no value or fake value, a lie, or something that was deceitful, something remade, when everything belongs to the Most High. And we'll sell out a paradise to go over into something that's shoddy, put together and ratchet because they made it look good. And so a lot of us buy into these things. I already talked about the true beauty. He said, I made man and woman. And when woman was made, Adam was like, woman is good. And then Adam put a name on her. He thought that the animals were valuable enough to even name them first. The Father said, I gave man the plants and the herbs for the good of man. Land that you walk on, everywhere you walk, your feet tread, you're supposed to be taking territory. He said, I put your feet in a spacious place, meaning that's for you. He said, woman, stretch out lengthen your course and strengthen your stakes. Spread out, do more. He told the Israelites, I gave you the land. Now go in and destroy your enemies that are occupying. And instead we get there and we bury them. We join hands with them. We begin to serve their gods. We bow down to them. We take on their form of worship. We take on their way of living. And we're still doing it to this day. When the Father said, the man from the very beginning. I talk about how women are exchanging beauty, counterfeit, fake, plastic, counterfeit. What's that other stuff? What is it? I don't know. The balloons. All of these things. Trying to be something and measure up. Remember, the enemy said in the beginning, hey, I know y'all in the Garden of Eden and whatever, I'm paraphrasing, but if you ate this right here, I know he said, maybe you won't die, or maybe this, and yeah, you're going to be wise. And it's always him talking like, if you put off what the Most High has given you, I guarantee you'll be better if you do it my way, is what he's saying. And man hasn't figured out that these things have never amounted to anything but spiritual or physical. I talked about how we put those perms in our head and we did all of these things, and Jerry curls, and a lot of us left out with our eyes red, swollen, crying, scabs in our head, hair loss, permanent hair loss, follicles burnt off, trying to be something that somebody else sees. And suddenly we didn't like that we had thick wool hair, although these are the things that were represented in the Bible. We had a problem with everything. Yes, he's ready to do it, and he's doing it. Hallelujah. All of these things, not trying to appease. Who are we trying to? Has it worse shape? They ain't no more happier than they were when they was doing bush. Wasn't good enough for us. Folks changing their eye color, and what should do? Change our eye color, one in one eye. Who in their right mind would foreign country and been approved and no to receive an or did anybody really actually know what to inject your eye to change your eye color, how that's consequent or what the damages would be. Remember, I said there's nothing wrong with beauty as an enhancement. If you feel that it's like a problem when it has to become you because you're not happy with what the Most High has made. So when I want to go change my eye color, the person didn't want to put on a contact. They decided to go get an injection in their eye and alter the state of what the Most High had put in place. Men are the same way, countless hours in the gym. There's nothing wrong with good health, but when it becomes excessive, we got to walk around shirtless, muscular, trying to win somebody, and what they forgot to develop was their character or their mentality. Some of them you talk to in the gym, and it seemed like they only had like fourth grade education. And I'm not trying to say education because education is a problem. It's on my list too. I'm talking about they lack just the natural, just, and all is gym talk and about their body. That's it. I find very few people that have any type of intellectual in the work and develop their character because people will turn person work on their bodies to be out them out the door too. So that's why I say we need to get off of how people look or whatever. And I'm not saying that you can't be beautiful, you can't be well worked out and or in health and not be a woman or daughter or a son of the Most High. I did not say that. I'm saying when there's an excessive situation going on and we forget that we don't put nothing above our King. Let's go on. Remember, the topic here today, or the premise, is that the Most High created everything from the very beginning, everything that man could ever need. Now here's food. This is a really big problem. I share this oftentimes, and I've been really trying to get on this train of or this journey of eating well and finding ways to be creative with fruit and vegetable. And I'm not talking about frying everything. Getting back to enjoying the taste. I read somewhere where it said that a man, he doesn't eat for the taste. He eats for the health and sustaining himself. Yes, it is. And it was a problem for me. I didn't really have a problem with food. I had a problem with bad food. Nothing tastes good unless it's fried. I mean, fried hard. Hard. Fried that shrimp hard. Fried them fries. Everything was fried. And I didn't even realize that I was blocking my arteries. And we don't even think about the fact that cholesterol, we have to remember that we start out one way and it look like it don't bother you, but if you constantly filling yourself up with these things, you growing to be whatever you fed yourself, whatever you've been feeding yourself with, this is who you are. So that's why the running joke in this house is that we give Big Mac gizzards and livers, because if we ever had to cook them, he would be right. He would be right. It all got to go together. That's right. And so I find that even here, a lot of us eat so many things, but yet we don't eliminate the way we should. And come on, this is a real channel here. My thing is to help. And there are various people that have their what the Father has put on their heart and what they are the is giving them the and so you got to have a limit all day and eating the wrong foods and you got enough to have a decent, they're not processing a limit their nomination. Can't cross and kind of push one that sitting in your intestines for way too many days because you're not having the eliminate or Steve and all of these other things to help us eliminate. This is supposed to be a natural way or a natural event of the body, is because we're giving our body the wrong thing. It's just like change or whatever. And if I put baby oil in there, I'm going to eventually have a problem, meaning I can't substitute what the body really needs, supplements, and supposed to, we have these alternatives. I don't know if that's good, because if we ate the way we were supposed to, the measures wouldn't have to have me when she sneezed, she urinates. And they think that that's because when they that that's what happened and everything got loose and now she, peeing on herself, or so to speak. No, if you got a big, that's going to be a problem, because the belly is now sitting up on the bladder. And so what's happening, you got all this extra weight on the bladder. And that's why you always feel like you got to use the bathroom. And then if you sneeze or laugh, some of it is seeping out. But I guarantee you, when the bladder problems will, things will get to burn off the cuts. And then if we do exercise, we have chicken and beans enough to wouldn't have these issues. For cheat day, it's not good for me to have balance in the sense of eating what the world would offer and then eating what the Most High has put on the earth. I want to get to the place that is really what He gave us. Now, I'm not one of the ones that's all about sea moss, and I'm not saying that it's bad. If you eat it, you eat it, whatever. But I just feel like if you just eat well and let the Most High, He'll talk to you about what you need. You'll be surprised as to why you're picking up certain things. And then when you do the research on it, you find out that that was exactly what you needed. Into the herbal stores, and I start or the grocery stores that like if you go to the Indian stores or wherever, and you're buying a bunch of herbs and things or seasons that you don't know what they are, and I'm speaking to my phone. What is this good for? What are the benefits? What are the properties? That's now. I now have direction. And I'm not just going in the grocery store pulling stuff up off the shelves and eating because I ain't ate all day. And the same man that said you don't eat for things to taste good, you eat to live. You eat what makes you live. I didn't even realize this, but he also said you should be prepped. Tupperware in your refrigerator. I'm talking about just about a whole bunch of player and beans, and it wasn't the right stuff, the salt back pork, and she had a whole meal gathered and planned, and she knew what she was going to cook, and it was all done the next day or whatever. That's kind of the way it's supposed to go, but it was what she was cooking that wasn't good for us. What the Father put here, like, really aren't good at all. Herbs. He gave us fruit, some vegetable. I'm not talking about no seedless grapes and no GMO. You're going to have to do your research like everybody else, because I'm learning a lot of stuff man created and made us think it was a vegetable. But I guarantee you, if you can find it, a root on it and a little dirty on the bottom, it's a good thing. They said that anything that's been buried in the ground is not good. Now, I don't know. I have to do some more research. They said that things should really hang up off of the vine or off of the tree. If it's growing down in the dirt, it's not real. I don't know. I need to look at that. So they're saying that and potatoes and stuff like that are man-made things, or either starchy and they're not good for you. But I will go back and look at that before I confirm it. They say you want to get what grows on a vine or on a tree, that it grows above the ground, because above the ground meaning it belongs to the Most High. Why? Because He made sure that sun would touch it and rain. And so they're saying that if it's down in the ground, that's something man created that needs some type of darkness and something around it and all that. I will take a look at that. Don't quote me on that one just yet. All right, so food. We would rather eat pork chops, rib tips, a big old ham. Stuff is killing the community. And I posted something on Facebook today that basically said, because Yah has a covenant with His people. He has a covenant with us. But we're not allowed to just eat any type of filth. We can't do it. And you may say, well, He said everything is good. I need to go back and read that in this context and see exactly what it means, because we was a lot of things. And when you go back and read the verse before it and the verse after, you find out And so if everything is good, why is so many of us in the hospital and people getting toes removed and a foot removed and legs and walking around here with a whole bag of medication and breathing hard and unhealthy and can't hardly move and in wheelchairs and oxygen tanks? Please tell me that if everything is good for us to eat. Y'all's people have a covenant with him and he told us how to eat. He told us, and I read this before, and I'm just going to tell you now, I don't even buy fish unless I speak it in my phone. And the first thing I put in there when I'm buying fish is this a bottom feeder? Is it a scavenger? And does it have scales and fins? If it does not have scales and fins, we are not supposed to eat it. Why? Most likely it's like you, if you over there eating catfish, you good as eating a snake. It's a bottom feeder and it has no scale. And they eat the nastiest things. You could put a baby diaper full with a number 2 up in there, and that catfish will come up on the line just because it's something stinky on the end of it. All dead things. We're not supposed to be eating tilapia. Did you know that? Oh, no bottom feeder, no shrimp, no crab, no lobster. I know. And definitely no snails and oysters and clams and scallops. None of that. But you can eat fish that have fins and they have shells and gills. Okay. Because I know you love crab leg night. Realize that with some people, your body has been filled with parasites and worms. I know, I know. And I want to give y'all just like a couple of the things, and you can look this up on your own, that there's some of the symptoms of having worms in the intestines. Did you know that a lot of people that are suffering from what they think is a thyroid problem could actually be a worm problem? Oh my goodness. Let me put this precursor in here. You said I never eat lobster and I started craving it real bad. Ended up I had that unactive thyroid because you wanted that iodine. Um, yeah, no, I've dealt with an overactive and an under, and now that I started eating right, none of these things are an issue. Excuse me. Deep mouth in here. What is wrong with you? How to leave people alone? Oh, you know, man. Who's this dog? These chihuahuas. I don't know if I get another one of these. All right. He barking at somebody 3 houses down in their own driveway. Big Mac, his name fits him well. All right, yeah, he needs to behave. So let's go on. Um, if you have hair loss, yeah, this dog. Hair loss could be a worm problem. So for people dealing with like alopecia, and let me put this out here real fast. I am not a doctor, nor am I in the medical profession. I just believe in God's help. All right. So don't nobody come back talking about you want to sue me because you bought you some deworming and your hair still hasn't grown back. That's not my problem. I'm trying to help you with the most that I know. And you can try it and see, but I really believe you'll get some hair. And so you may say, well, what about a kid that has it? How is it that they're battling this issue and they're a child? Because they were once connected to your umbilical cord. And if you eat terrible and then you continue to feed them terrible, you ate bad. And then when they came out the womb, you were shoving, you know, a Pepsi in a bottle down their throat and some chicken nuggets and all of that. And Mac Mystery meats, So it's a possibility that you can just continue on. Why do children have childhood diabetes? Because of the bad eating behavior of the parents, the family. So don't tell me that stuff running your family. It really does, but not in the way you think. It's because somebody didn't break the curse. They didn't change the events of the matter. Starchy foods. Yep. So when you have a worm problem, weakness in the legs, hair loss, eye twitching, ear itching, ear ringing. That's a lot of it. Um, and it could be mistaken for thyroid conditions, bad skin, eczema, bad breath. Hallelujah. Thank you, Father. That's just the ones that I know. And of course, other things. If you scratch like there, you already know you might need to go figure some stuff out. What you could take for that is wormwood. Where's Miss Who was it? Um, Johanna, what was that herb that we was talking about? And I could not find it. Mugwort. That's what it is. Mugwart. You can try that. If you can't find it, you could do black walnut, and wormwood. You tried it? I mean, I guess I tried to type it. I didn't think you could see it. No, I couldn't. I still haven't. Wait, do I have it now? Mugwort. There it is. Hallelujah. Yep, that's the one. And so if you can get that in an abstract form and drop that in the child's juice or in your smoothie and begin to do that. You've been drinking mugwort tea and that good. There you go. Awesome. These are the things that we should have. And so mugwort, one of the things we know that it will do is help clean that intestinal tract out. And I'm sure I'm good. I believe it's good for many other things, but that's just the one that I know of. And that was the one the Most High gave to Joanna and myself, and she's been trying it. I couldn't find it here. I went to 3 different vitamin stores and I was unable to get it. All right, moving on. So remember that the Most High gave us everything from the very beginning. So we should the pork rinds, and I know they came out with that little stuff y'all was doing, how to eat, and instead of eating a tortilla chip, you eat a pork rind kilo or keto and all of that. Yeah, they do. Um, Amazon right now, I think you better do it before they really start changing it up. Okay, I'm gonna put that out there because we know that they are not. We'll leave that there. All right, so we shouldn't be eating all of this stuff and those bottom feeders, because if they eat trash, then what? We gonna eat, and they're full of garbage and trash, and anything full of trash, you're gonna see pears, you're gonna see worms, you're gonna see maggots away from that. And on a share, that's what that is. You see those little bumps on black walnut or mugwort, and as what was the other one? Worm. Yeah, those two, black walnut. Burdock root would be good for. Hey, wait a minute. Shut up. Come on over here right now. Wait a minute. Man, you're doing too much. Are you supposed to be over Get out of here. Go outside right now. Go outside. No, go outside and you sit on the step. Get out, Big Mac. Get out. Go outside. You two get out of here. Y'all don't want to get outside instead. Sorry, y'all. Oh my goodness. I see sugar across the street. I know for women's health. All right, absolutely. Good. I'm glad you put that there. Also, we're gonna have to, if anybody has a herb for those that are trying to baby, I've read, but take a look at that. All right. Okay, so let's just remember that food was created by the Most High. He had already put food here for man. And when we start exchanging things according to the system and we start eating the little king's food, like when Daniel said, hey, I don't want that. I'm not going to eat that. I'm going to eat those things. Remember, they were herbs, grain, fruit and vegetables, those type of things. He did not eat the king's choice food, which was all that meat, those desserts, those delicatessens, whatever it was that they were eating at that time. And it came out true that Daniel and his boys were better in health, good looking, had the countenance of the Most High upon them. They were strong and they were wise and clear in their minds. Okay. And so that is one of the reasons why we definitely want to get back to the things that the Most High created. All right, let's go on down this line quickly. I've been here a little long. Medicine. That's another one. We can tie that in with the food, because the food that the Most High put here, he said it was medicine. He said that the plants and the herbs were for the healing of man. And it's up to you to allow the Holy Spirit to lead you where you need to go. You will, if you have an issue or concern, you should be talking to him about things so that he will show you. And before you know it, like when he spoke to us about this particular herb, we both was talking about it at the same time. And I think done that like a couple of times with some things. And I'm not telling you to put all your herb. You put your trust in the Most High, who created these things for you, and said that this is what he gave to you. And you have no business running over to the white coat for everything. Some of y'all, if you even have a sniffle, you're right there, going up in the urgent care and all of these different things. Everywhere, every time you turn, you can't do nothing. You got it to the point that you are transferring down to your children a spirit of being a hypochondriac. What is that? A person that always think that something is wrong with them. They feel like they sick, and anything that they feel, they going to have somebody look at. They don't believe in laying hands on themselves. They don't believe in speaking the word of the Most High. They don't believe anything. Thank you. That is so true. And we done got to the point that we don't even believe that the Most High is, and anything that he created, we just walk past it. Like it's, I learned that dandelions were good for, especially the root was good for cleaning out the liver and the bladder, the bowels. Here they told us it was weeds. They even came up with weed killer to destroy something that the Father put here for the health of man. Did you know that little crabgrass has a very sour little taste that you can put on your salads? And we think that that's just something for the dog to eat. Why y'all see dogs with upset stomach go outside and start chewing on grass and looking for certain plants? They healing themselves. And a bird, every animal out here that figured out that this is what they need to eat. And you may say, well, what else is he going to eat? Well, he could have went and ate his little kibbles and bits of Alpo, but he'll go outside and start chewing on the grass. When you see a dog chewing on the grass, that's because they are trying to heal whatever is going on or the issue in their stomach. I keep telling us to get up and have a glass of tea or eat a piece of fruit. Why? To keep that system cleaned out. Poke salad. I don't know. Sorry, what is poke? That's a new one on me, Miss Stu. You got to tell me what that is. So as she's writing that, the Most High has put all of the here. Did you know that the body was created to really restore and heal it up? If you would give it what to work with, and you give it what, if we came out of the ground and the Father said, I formed you from dirt. If he says that he formed us from dirt, well, thank you for telling me, because I really didn't know. Let me write that down. He formed us out of the dirt and he gave us his ruach, his breath. And then, man came to be, and woman. What makes you think that, where did he say he created us from any type of unnatural thing, any type of medicine or whatever? And if you have to take this, go ahead and pray over it. But really, everything is here, and all they do coming out the ground and making it and mixing it with something else and giving it to you. But it had to have some kind of base. And so if only man would learn, if only man would learn, if man would be obedient and do what the Most High called him to do. Move on. The next one, wisdom. The Most High gave us wisdom, and yet we exchanged it for all of these different degrees. I'm not telling you that you shouldn't have got a degree, but when we get to the place that we feel like our degree and us somebody, you'll see people with the bachelor's in there and say speed down PhDs on the, but it's even hosted a pretty depressed say when and they leave to do this. When you talk to those women and they say, I have this and I'm driving that and I have this car and I am doing this and that and the other. Men do it too. I make this amount, baby girl, I could do that, I could do this. Don't nobody really care. Is that all you have? Is that happened to the Most High? You have the ability to think. He said, man is as he thinking. He said, think on these things. Then I tell my daughter, why don't you go read a book and have something else to talk about other than how cute you are and what the wisdom gives us a it gives you where it's like you have the Father has given you some substance. And you are able to talk with those that are simple as well as those that are in high rank positions. You can talk to anybody if you're wise. But yeah, we'll talk about our degrees, and I just got this job and I am CEO and I remember I met a lady getting my feet done and she was talking. We have the church CME over on West Washington Street and we have the biggest church. And I said, well, how many, you got members? Are y'all having church? No, we're not down because so all of this stuff you talking about came to nothing at the end of the day. High-minded, the Father tell us, don't think more highly of yourself than you should. And you ain't supposed to think like a worm either. Well, what happened to humility? What happened to people, you having conversation and somebody is so intrigued by, that's right, what you got to say that they ask you, who are you? Why do we get to the point that we feel like we have to impress people by these things that are happening in our lives? There's some kind of way that maybe people will see us as being important. How come you just can't be important because you are the Most High's daughter or son? You got His stamp upon your life. You good because of your spirit in your heart, the smile and the beauty of your eyes, and that which is in your soul. Just the beauty of the Most High and what He has put inside of you. Y'all gonna make me go in there and beat Big Mac up because he is doing the most. This is the longest he been outside. I let them in and out, but I need them outside. My daughter is working to 8. I have peace today, and I don't even want to be bothered with the fur babies, and he cannot handle it. He fighting everybody outside on a leash. My goodness. All right, y'all. So this is what wisdom has done, or what we should have had was wisdom, and we exchanged that for man's education, which already tied me into the education, where we are even in the fact that the Father gave us wisdom that I showed y'all about Daniel, and the men of the beginning were wise because it even talked about Solomon and how David was skilled at fighting, and everybody had what they were doing. The Father gave them was these gifts, and this is what they cultivated, because really what they was carrying was Yah's spirit, the Ruach on the inside of them. He on the leash. I hear him. As long as I hear him right there, he ain't out. And then moseyed her tail. She been beat up, so she ain't going nowhere now. We all know that work. All right. And that we most people want them to. We wonder why our children that's compromising according to what they the way you think. But the Most High, I gave you wisdom and I taught you myself, and I'm able to teach you. And I gave you these children as arsenal in your quiver. They are arrows in your quiver. They are for war. They are for you. They are a reward. And you giving them over to the enemy. And we're so busy chasing a dollar that we won't even teach our kids. And we wonder why they rebellious and why they having children out of wedlock and why they talking about sex at 12 and why they looking at videos and why they half naked and why they loving themselves and taking that we had everything that the Father told us to have. Everything that He gave us, and we have changed it, exchanged it for a wooden nickel, fake gold, fool's gold. Oh my goodness. We throwing the kids out there when that system had already told us that the curriculum is not what it used to be. Ms. P, thanks for coming back. It's not what it used to be, and it's not going to be what it was. And these kids can't do taxes. They ain't show me how to do them. So I was paying people to do taxes, and then I looked at the program. I'm like, all it is some questions, and all we had to do was answer, and they numbered them. But they made us think it was something that we could not do. They don't know how to. And y'all check out Miss Henrietta, because that's her specialty in the Money Matters. Okay, and she'll talk about that on another broadcast. But all of these things that kids cannot do, they don't know how to budget. I have been places. I can remember when I went to the laundromat and a young boy couldn't even count his dimes and his nickels to come up with 75 cents to put in a wash. And he looked like he was about 18 or 19 years old. These kids can't even count money. You adults are struggling in that now. But then you got old people that didn't even finish the 4th or the 6th, maybe the 6th back in the South, and they can count money with their eyes closed. Ray Charles was blind, and they said he knew a 5 from a 10 and a 20 from a 10 and was never cheap. Can't count, but they've been in school and they schooled to death or schooled to life, and they can't even count. They can't even tell time. You say 15 minutes to the hour, they looking, and you tell them count by 5s, or here's the bills, and they got to do count by 5s, and if it switch to a 10, and we sending these kids there year after year, expecting something different. But the teacher hands are tired because they can only teach they want them to teach. And if they try to teach them out the box, that teacher is not going to be there but a year. And if she get away with 2, because they want them to stick to the script, stick to the curriculum, where they don't learn anything but how to, how many times the square, and if they do this square root this and that and the other. And I'm not saying that it won't help them, but I don't know how many times you needed to know that. And what is figurative language? Silly stuff. You cut a rug, she threw her foot in it, that type of stuff. I call it idiot language. And these kids are coming out of schools and they can barely read. And don't tell me a kid can read all day long just because you can read the print on the board or on the page, but you have no understanding, no comprehension whatsoever. I tell my girls, go out and pump the gas or whatever, or do something, or go in the grocery store. They come back with something totally different or close to it. I'm like, wait a minute, didn't you see that I asked you for this and you come back with diet? Well, I didn't know. Well, how come you didn't read? Because they are taught to process, to turn out stuff, like do not even process. I'm sorry, I got that word really wrong. They ought to just do. Very learn why they're doing it and come up with the whole process. They don't even know why they're doing it. I'm moving down. You don't have to stay that long. The entertainment we were supposed to have was fellowship with one another, praise and worship in the Most High, coming together to talk about the goodness of the Most High, and family. That was supposed to be our entertainment. It ain't nothing wrong. We could have had hay rides. Remember, anybody come from the South? We didn't have televisions and video games. Matter of fact, they had 3 channels that Jerry Lewis was on one with his darn marathon, which I bear had it all day walking around with the and a pamper on the little TV. I didn't like. And then they had to be to meet Lewis in America with his hand honey, and nothing was funny or cute, and enjoy the car because I never got it. And then here's the 3 Stooges and these crazy folks with no hair, a little bob, and a mullet or whatever he had on his head. And this is what they was doing, slapping and beating up each other. And it was black. And they was introducing us to television that was taking us away from that. To sit in the room, watch the television, listen to the radio, and we did these things together. And our entertainment was playing with just being in nature. We fished, we played chicken, where we not in the street where the kids. We was keeping the chickens from running under the house because in the South, the house set up on those cement blocks. And what we would do is have brooms and whatever we could find. And it was really a bad game because we was hitting the chickens and keeping them from going up under the house. But even in that, we had to be careful because we knew we had snakes, so we couldn't be running all around the house. But we had a boat. We go down in the lake. We did these things, games, what was it, Tisket, Tasket, your yellow basket, all of these types of things, bike riding and taking walks. And what we were kids. And then we started exchanging that for the technology, held hand games. Kids didn't play no more soft jacks, rope. Now they and we have bought them everything. They sitting in their rooms playing game. They don't come out. And now their attitudes are bad. You can't ask them anything. All they are is locked into these games. And attention is on this, and we wonder why they have it so that they can leave us alone and be babies, which has become a vicious cycle. And the wife even had entertainment. It was a time we danced together. You cooked together. He might have been working on the car, and that woman brought a sandwich or whatever. Sat down and listened to the radio, to church together. Some kind of way things entered, and we began to accept the fool's gold, the fake, counterfeit. People talk about when the used to wear those moon dresses and had 10 and 12 secrets. The more I think, but now we victorious because they tired of seeing flesh. They sick and tired of seeing folks behind. You seen one, you seen them all. Okay, that one bold, that one round, that one flat, that one long, that one small. The bottom line is it's flesh. And the Most High didn't want us doing this. And I will go ahead and I'll tell you why. Let's move all the way down. Convenience is becoming a problem for men because now we want everything to be so convenient. We don't do anything. We throw our clothes in the washing machine and we wash and dry. And it was supposed to make things easier, but now it has made for a society of people that want everything done for them. And they don't know how to do nothing. I promise y'all, if they shut down things tomorrow, I'm talking about all electricity like they doing over right now. And my husband just experienced a power outage in Togo, and Nigerians have been without all electricity for the last 2 days. If they shut off everything here, what will everybody do? There are people, my daughter said, I don't understand what we're supposed to do. The washing machine. Wait a minute. You don't know how to go wash out what you need on your hands and with your soap or whatever, and then wash it out and clear the soap out and hang it on the line or on the shower. Nobody knows how to do nothing. I worked in an apartment complex. I told you, anytime they had to work on the water and they shut the water down, maybe there was a leak in somebody's building, so they shut it down to figure out where it was coming from. There would be people that would call in and be like, well, what are we supposed to do? I gotta go to work in 6 hours. They don't know how to run water in the tub. One girl even said to me, what you want me to do? I'm supposed to run all that water in the tub? And no, she said, I'm supposed to, no, this is what she said. I'm supposed to, how I'll be here all day running hot water to fill up the tub, boiling hot water on the stove to fill the tub. She didn't even understand that you fill the tub up with the cold water and then boil 2 pots of hot water and pour it in and warm your water up. She thought she was supposed to boil all of these big pots of hot water to pour in the tub. Honey, if you did that, you couldn't even get in it. Convenience has dumbed down men. We have calculators, and again, people can't add. We have machines with pictures on them of food that people don't even know how to type in anything. They don't know how to do anything, autocorrect for everything, to the point it's making it where we can't even remember how to spell. Everything is done for us to the point that man is becoming obsolete and don't even know it. The artificial intelligence is going to take over. It's going to be sad. They're already making it where everything is online. All they need to do is now remove the teachers and have the program already online. The kids sign on, do what they got to do, and be done. They really are getting to a place that they don't need us. When you go to the checkout in the cash register, they now removing the cashier, and you go in and you do a self-serve. Even the gas pumps and everything is getting to that place that man is becoming obsolete. When the Father said, I have put everything here, man was supposed to rule the earth and have dominion, authority, and be fruitful and multiply. And we've exchanged it for convenience, fool's gold, wooden nickels, and paper money. Advancement was never a bad thing. But when we get to the place that we advance these things over Yah's purpose, his perfect will, and over, we try to place these things and they have gotten to a place that they're trying to take his place in our lives. That's a problem. All right, I'm moving through. Marriage. That's a big one. I ain't gonna stay there. I'll talk about it often. Just to say the Father told us to be fruitful and multiply, and he made the first institution between man and woman was marriage. He created Eve. He gave Eve to Adam, and they began to be fruitful and multiply. Well, not right away. It was a fall or whatever, but they was walking in the cool of the garden. They was walking in the cool of the day with the Most High himself. And so marriage is good. And that's the institution, it's a gift that the Most High gave. And now it's getting to the point that don't nobody even want to do it. We want to try out stuff first. I've even had ministers say, what is wrong with living together so you can know what the person is capable of? Wait a minute, honey. There's folks that have been married for years and still don't know what one another is capable of. Folks only going to let you know so much. You may know some things because you're with them, but the Father never meant for us to be doing all this dating. He never meant for you to be living together. He never meant for us to be trying each other out. He never meant for you to have several boyfriends. He never meant for you to be on all these dating lines. He never meant it. And even if we did use technology for that, it's still supposed to go back to the Most High. And it's almost like we have just read him out of everything. And another thing we weren't supposed to be doing was marrying all these strange folks. Yep, I said it. Well, where can you get that from, Erica? Well, Samson did it, and David and Solomon. And when they started marrying all these strange people that don't line up with the word and bringing in all these extra folk, and then started doing all this strange thing and bringing in people with their own gods and their own way of thinking, their own ideologies, it brought about confusion. And now we have these children that came up, and now they trying to figure out what side should they be on, and they really don't know because they somewhere in the middle, and they don't have really a place. And what I mean by that is taking on people with their own guys and their own way of thinking. And then we have so many issues. And that's when you see these big time celebrity people, and not just them, even in the lay people. We hooked up with folks that we knew they believed in something different. No man got no business marrying no witch. If she talking about horoscopes and fortune telling, and you supposed to be a man of God, you didn't either you gonna come all the way on her side, or you gonna have a storm in your house often. Somebody gonna have to compromise if they want to live. Husband, he like she's a Christian with the old Christian. That's what compromise that they agree upon. So she don't have a problem with all these pictures and this. How is it that you say you're a believer and you married to somebody that in some type of organizations and stuff that does not represent the Most High, and you claim that y'all have a good relationship, and he coming up in here with all of this worldly artifacts and stuff hanging all over y'all walls? These things should not be. It can be. I don't want to stay too much because that's a long one, because a lot of people are already, what about if you got saved along the way and that person is it? The Father already told us that, the believer will sanctify the others. So that's the scripture you had. You need to stand on. You need to stand on it. He gave you a scripture for that because the Father understood that those things do happen. Y'all might have both started out a certain way and one got saved and the other one did not. And he talked about that the believing wife or the believing spouse would sanctify the other. I'm going to look at that in another context and make sure that it's not about a woman sanctifying her husband or a husband sanctifying his wife. If this is where either or could do it, then we want to know. And so I will look that up. Marriage is a tricky thing. That's why he told us that we are to be equally yoked. And that's the thing, that people thought that they could save the unbeliever, and they thought they could bring in the Hindu or the Buddhist or the Kemet worshiper and try to have a relationship with them. These things only go for so long. And he didn't want that, because what he didn't want you was to be lured away and people trying to figure out how they're going to raise the next generation. Are you going to raise them to be Kemet worshipers and you are a believer in the Most High? How are you doing this? And so don't tell me they go to church half the day with you, and then on the other half, they go and light incense and hum. No, you sadly mistaken. And the Bible has told us that we cannot serve two gods, two masters. You're going to love one and hate the other. Meaning there's a decision that must be made. It said, choose you this day whom you will serve. Let's go on down. The next one, modesty. I talk about this often, and that kind of went up there with true beauty. But I wanted to say this: the Most High gave modesty not so that you couldn't show off how shapely you were or how curvy you are or how much he packing and all this old crazy stuff. Modesty was for keep everything in its proper perspective. Men are enticed by what they see, but they're enticed that much more when they only get a when their imagination should precede them. They should be looking, saying, man, I wonder what would she be like. I would like to see her better. I want to her. I'm to the point now, I want to even marry this woman because I'm so fat tree. I didn't tell you to go wear a bed sheet. You ain't got to look like them folks with them robes and covered from head to toe and nothing sticking out but their eyes. And they think that's modesty, but to me, that's bondage. Modesty is doing things decent and in order and moderation. And the reason why no man should be able to look at everything good at you, that should be set apart for the one that is willing to take you as his own. It belongs to him. You're supposed to be chaste all the way. You are living for the Most High if you're not married. So when that man does come, then you reveal, when he becomes your husband, your nakedness is then revealed then. Why is your nakedness being revealed to the public? Why is that okay for you to walk around with all of your cleavage and these shorts? They just a disgrace. I know it's hot and okay, shorts, okay, fine. But when they Daisy Dukes, there's a problem with this. When the hips are hanging out, when we see your underwear, when we see your tramp stamps and all of these types of things, the Most High didn't want you to do that, because now we have a barrage of single women out here that aren't married. And the more they keep thinking that they expose themselves and show more and get BBLs and put on more makeup, it's just maybe somebody would notice you. But what you don't realize is that they seeing it on every corner because it's becoming real common. Sort of like the supply and demand. They tell you if it's supplied and if it's a whole lot, you said worse than a disgrace. If it's something that it's a great deal of, it's no longer a it's nothing cherished. That's why people will have a penny and be like, you give something costs you 99 cents and you pay with a whole dollar, you'll say, keep the penny. Because people start to see that it's not valuable, because there's no scarcity of pennies. But the day that change becomes real scarce, you got a money, there's a problem with your money flow, them pennies would become real valuable to you. Matter of fact, you'll be looking for them on the ground. And that's the issue with women today, especially our women. As much as I love our sisters, and that's why I don't say things about beauty and stuff too much. You don't hear me saying, "Oh, you're so beautiful," and this and that, because that's something. Beauty is not just on the outside, but it's within. I don't know about how are you with your character? How are you? Beauty is fine, but the Father said it's fleeting. It doesn't last. Do you have anything to offer when the wrinkles come, or the weight should come, or hair loss? or something happened that's unfortunate. Or maybe you don't look like you used to look. You're just not as cute. Do you have anything in the offer? And that's what I tell my daughter. What, how long you gonna ride on this? It's fine for you to have this, but do you have anything else? At the end of the day, when he see you and you ain't got your lashes on and that wig then move back from the rest of your hair, is he still excited about who you are? Did you come with who you are so that he get to love you for you? And then when you add the accessories, the extra, and you look good for the enhancing, then it's good. But then if that's all he see is that, and then he noticed that your attitude is poor, and then when the wig and the makeup come off, you kind of look like Johnny and you no longer look like Jennifer. I'm just saying, is it all good still? What happened to us? What happened to us? And I'm not about to go here and debate about you wearing a bonnet on your head in public in pajamas. And Lord help us that they came out with the furry house shoes. I told my daughter, please do not put them on again in public. That's cute if you're on vacation or you went down the hallway to get some ice when we were on vacation. Okay, all that's good and fine in the house. Okay, that's cute if you had to run and drop that in the mailbox or whatever. But I don't feel that that's an outfit that you should be wearing. See how they made stuff that dumbed us down as a people. Now, I know other people are wearing it, but I don't see too many Caucasians or Chinese people walking around with a big furry house shoe on. I'm sorry, I have not seen it. If you have, I stand corrected. They made that stuff for us because they know we always grabbing on stuff. The Most High did not create us for that. In the wilderness, when the children of Israel were there, it said that they were there and their shoes did not wear off their feet. Can you imagine if we had to do an Exodus? How many of y'all would make it with your Daisy Dukes on and your big fuzzy house shoes and a halter top? You would be ate up by mosquitoes. Your feet would be bleeding on the bottom, and them shorts would be cutting you in half. I just don't think you would make it. And some of you men out there with them little skinny jeans on, I don't know if there was an Exodus tomorrow, you would not make it with them jeans on. Your circulation would be cut off, and we would have to carry your behind across as far as carry you. And we ain't even gonna talk about these muscle shirts. You would burn up in the summer because that shirt would be stuck to you like skin. I'm just gonna say, if we had an Exodus or if something happened on the earth, where would you be? If they turned off all the lights here, how would we find ourselves? You ain't got time if there's a bomb or something drop off. How you gonna get these clothes out the drawer? Some of y'all ain't even got nothing decent to put on if we had to go through something. Everything you have is club wear. Modesty was for us because it identified us as his people. Don't tell me that you're a believer and you don't want to do it. And I'm walking around here with some skinny jeans on and all they facial cut off face with some lip gloss powder and your eyebrows and something is wrong, family. Men are supposed to have a little facial hair. Why are they walking around here with a baby buttered face, trying to look like a little boy, and you can't look like one because you look like an old little boy? It's just odd. Just like an old woman with a mini skirt on and her hard legs. I don't care how good and fit your body is, it's just something off. Just like when you see that man with his jersey on and all them gold necklaces hanging and 50 rings, it's just something is off. And we look more worldly and we don't look like the father's people, his sons and his daughters. All right, our children, all our kids or whatever, they should have had one father and one mother. They should have. Now we got our little children, our girls. We just, our kids are just starting to go in a poor direction. There's something wrong when parents stand in line to pay money for a piece of cloth that what they call it, that mesh shoe, just because it's got on it or a sign, and we standing in line buying these things for our children. Little kid got on these particular shoes and it has no type of structure for the growing of the foot. We teaching them to be materialistic coming out the womb, putting weave in the daughter's hair, the little girl's hair, and they already come in here with a complex. Little girls with halter tops on. She got her pamp on, but a halter top. Yeah, we have sold our children out. Our little boys got earrings in each ear, all these lines cut in his hair, and he walking around here with his pants hanging, and he barely can walk and know his ABCs. We turning them out already. What kind of mother would take the dye and dye her son's hair? And now we all good with our sons being fruity and our daughters being hard. It's like we have lost what the Most High put here in place, where He called man, man, and woman, woman. And now there's so much confusion, and now we accepting everything. Well, that's my son, that's my daughter, and you helping them to live like this. I didn't say reject them or hate them. I never said that. But I don't think I would be shopping with my son and we're buying dresses and heels together. Sorry, I'm not going to do it. I won't. That's right. With the pep on, don't they? They all know the lyrics to every rap song. They all know how to do the whoa, and they all know how to, whatever they do. We have turned our children over to the world. Nothing worse than a parent to pull up and the baby still in the back in the car seat and the music is up so loud and the child acts so undisturbed. But what they supposed to do, they can't get out and walk. We don't have no regard for the spirit of our children or their minds. Folks that can't put the cigarette down and yet you're still smoking and the kids are inhaling cigarette smoke. We don't have no problem with it. Our whole basement is full of alcohol and we have children growing up alcoholics right in our own household. Where are they getting their first drink from? The basement, while mom and daddy entertaining their family and their folks. The baby down there getting towed down. We don't care anymore. Folks is rolling blunts in front of their children. It's like we just don't care. We all have done some things. And again, I'm not trying to condemn you. I have found that I even had to apologize for my children for times that, when I wasn't in the faith and or wasn't living the way I was supposed to live, when I really didn't know who I was. And I had my man spending the night or whatever, or whoever man he was, because we call folks our man and really they everybody's man. And we laid up in rooms with them with our kids right in the next room or leaving the key and here he is come creeping in like our kids don't hear us in the next room, and we got the televisions turned up loud and the radio loud and see this type of broadcast people not what the most spot want to hear your best year and all of that. No, I'm come and I'm gonna tell you right because the Most High had to deliver me. I thought that these things were okay. And what it does is build resentment in your children and hate you because they were hurt that they heard things that they should not have heard. And some of them have seen things that they shouldn't have seen. And God forbid that they experience things that they should never have experienced. When mama was supposed to protect them, and so was daddy, but daddy walked out and left children behind and started new families right down the street. And some of the men have just been raggedy and ratchet, sleeping with aunties and even with your own children and messing around with her friends and all these types of things. It's like we have no standards anymore. And so our sons grew up hating women because their mama was walking around here with them Daisy Dukes on and flesh hanging out everywhere loud. And a hate chest had built up. Not to mention if you had several men come over and these sons see that and then nothing they could say, and all of a sudden you put the son in a place to be daddy, like a man in the household wasn't been wasn't the real man or his dad with their whomever should put Tony, and now the son is being minimized in the house that you allow him to run when Tony is not there. Sons hate their mothers but can't say anything, so they take it out on women later on. Daughters and mothers have hangups with each other because daughters are angry secretly too. We got to get back and ask the Most High to heal our family, that we and just turn them over to the enemy. You keep praying and you ask for forgiveness. And had you ever noticed that a lot of times we get saved and we finally our lives together, but those kids keep bringing up your past because that's something that's with them and they haven't learned to turn it away. They still walking in places of unforgiveness. And so we have to pray that the Most High will help us to embrace those, even if they're as grown as they are and they still angry with you because they still hovering or hoarding hurt from something that happened way back when. The next one, let's move on. Love has been exchanged. Remember, everything the Father, everything that man needed, man and woman needed, was given to us from the very beginning. The Father gave you love. And love is supposed to protect and cover. It's supposed to honor and respect. And we've exchanged that for lust. We don't respect anything. We want sex right away. We ain't got to marry. We're gonna see what he working with, or I'm gonna see how she is. We're gonna test each other out. And then before you know it, there's no relationship at all. Nothing ever developed. You never knew anything about love. All you knew was lust, and love can't even be accomplished. And if you were, it's by the grace of the Most High, if you were still able to do it after you crossed those lines. Love was there to protect you, to give you peace and long suffering. It's supposed to be that you running and think like you got it isn't love. And then I would do it right away. And right now, usually in your heart skip a beat and all that, that's usually not love. Love is something that's endured, sustainable. And if you will go back about, what is it, Corinthians chapter 13, where it tells us that love is patient and kind and long suffering, a lot of the things that we're not today. Now it's lust. Everything is right now, right away. Do as I say, controlling, manipulative. It's a lot of things that love isn't. Excuse me. Sorry. He literally just sitting in the grass, barking at anything. All right, so let's move on through. I can't really do that one. We need to do one on love because we have always been told that love is a feeling. It's something flowery, feeling of loveliness and dance, to stargazing and rose-colored lenses. No, love is not that, and definitely love is not painful. It's not abusive. It's not neglectful. That's not what love is. He told us what it was. It's patient and it's kind. What happened to kindness? I need to talk about that. That's another one. We'll come back on that another day. Because we forget these things. We don't even say excuse me and thank you anymore. We just anticipate that we're entitled to these things. We don't say anything anymore. We just take people for granted. Your husband doesn't have to come home. He don't. He should, but he doesn't. Your wife doesn't have to come home. But for a person to come home every night, that's something to thank the Most High. Because a lot of people now are more about themselves. They'll feed themselves and not think of you. They don't make sure gas is in your car. You may say, well, I'm dealing with somebody that's like that. Pray and break off the spirit of selfishness. Fast. Hallelujah. I just believe that anything in covenant, if the Most High was in it, he hasn't left it. I got to go on. We exchange our language. The Father gave us the language. We're supposed to speak things that edify and encourage, that bless, that heal. And when we rebuke, we even supposed to do it in love. Now we have language that's abusive, hurtful, harmful, even in the music, curses, death. Remember, everything that the Father gave us was good from the very beginning. What he gave to man, everything that man needed, everything that man and woman needed was already on the earth. But we have been exchanging again for the things that are counterfeit, fool's gold, phony, fake, plastic. And now here we are taking on the enemy's language, which is full of hatred, degrading, derogatory, obscene, blasphemous language. Where is that, Erica? Daily. People don't even realize it. In the music, people talking about they laugh and they about to die. Love you. We have picked up curses and have made it a part of our language. Our language. I already talked about good morning. You can keep using it if you want to. You've been told. I know there are homophones, homonyms. You're talking to a teacher. I understand. We can do better. Bless the day, for this is the day that he has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Our language is horrible. You ain't nothing. You ain't gonna amount to anything. I'm so sick of you. You make me sick. Listen at the things we're saying. I'm broke. I ain't got nothing. What's up with you? Nothing. I'm feeling lazy. I can't do it. This is impossible. What happened to what the Most High told us? That there's life and death in the power of your tongue. We are accountable for every word that come up out of our mouths. We will be judged for every word that we allow to come out of our mouths. Our words should not just be reckless. People have relationships that never, it just seems like the relationship is so broken from the things that they said. But I guarantee you, if you continue to speak well, even if you say hurtful things, I believe that you can begin to repair the broken dam or the breach. Put a 1 in the box if you can still hear me. I'm getting ready to wrap up because it's going a little bit longer. I'll have to move on. I might have to pick these up later, but when I say that, I know I won't. Can somebody put a 1 in the box? I don't know if I'm frozen. Please. Thank you, Mr. All right, I'm getting ready to end. We did language worship. We already know that worship has crossed the line. We are now worshiping Satan with the music, the things that we're doing every day when we get up, if we argue, if we in dissension, if there's, any type of issues amongst the brethren, that's a form of worship to him. When we start rehearsing what's going on all over the earth, when we talk about what the evil prophets are prophesying, what's getting ready to happen, we are taking part in that. That's a form of worship. When we're stingy, when we don't agree, when we can't agree, these are a form of, that's what he wants. All of those ifs and ain'ts, that's him. When we scroll the internet, these are the things. When we bow down to other gods, that's a form of worship. And it's in ways that you don't even know. If I get up and the first thing I do is look online and start scrolling, I have began to worship what? Technology. My friends and stuff on Facebook or whatever it is. When I'm depressed, that's a form of worship. I'm worshiping myself. I'm self-centered, how I feel. That kind of stuff. Emotions, crying, all of these things. If you ain't really got a legit reason, that's a form. What am I doing? If these are not tears of joy, if I'm not celebrating the Most High, he gave us worship as a form of beginning to lift off these things, off the stuff off of the earth, the things that come off the system, the weight of the world shall come up off of you. Worship is a form of coming above it. He said, you're seated in heavenly places. You should be above, not down here on the bottom with the weight of the world on top of you. He said that you will make this, your enemy will be your footstool. You touch your feet. It shouldn't be that his foot is on top of your neck. Worship. Won't even do it. When we rehearse complaining, I don't know why this is happening. I can't get up from under this deck. When we negative, critical of other people, got a beam that we always pulling out somebody's eye, don't get our own. Or how about this? Self-worship. The first thing you do is get up and start primping and prepping and getting yourself together and doing what works for you. You ain't cracked your Bible, nor have you prayed. Worship. Go on, fellowship, false fellowship, entertaining things that are not of the Most High, fellowshipping with things of the world and having these same old friends and hanging around folks that we know don't live according to the way they should. We don't have a problem with coming around and spreading the gospel, but when you hanging out with them as freely because you really just like them, how is it that you always around the folks that get drunk? How come you always around the folks that they always eating swine? Why are you around the people always cursing? Why are you around the always issues with, they always got a new man or a new woman? They ain't never settling down with nobody. How is a married man hanging around with a man that got several women? False fellowship. Why are you still up in that church? Why are you still up in that church? False fellowship. Right. I can't go over all of that. Family, that's a big one. We have exchanged family for a whole lot of stuff. We giving up family for jobs, for money, for ourselves, for what we want. You hear women saying, I don't want to have no baby because I don't want to mess up my figure. The Father gave us everything. He said, be fruitful and multiply. How you going against what the Most High said? Folks getting off into other families that ain't got nothing to do with nothing, joining the witnesses, joining this, doing that, the sororities, the fraternities, the gangs, the this and the that, going off and making these surrogate families that don't represent the Most High and the unit that he put together. I can't go over no more of that right now, but that's a part of it. Money. We were supposed to be pretty much everything that we get comes from the Most High. He gave you the ability to get your gifts and talents. That's what jobs was supposed to show us, the gifts and the opportunity to spread the good news, the gospel to others, and to be a light in those dark places where many of us have made money our gods. That's all we pursue. That's all we chase after. That's all we run after. And money has become your God and everything. We don't give. We don't give in exchange for nothing unless it's money, getting what we want, working hard, and selling giving off everything that the Most High gave you just to make it. All right, and exchanging faith for fear. Exchange of faith. Remember, everything the Most High, everything that man and woman need, he gave to you. Giving away faith, or not acquiring faith, but and fear is running our lives. Okay, I can't really go over this the way I want to, but go with me real quick, and I'm almost done. Psalms 51, because I got to go get my daughter. Psalms 51, I will read, and we won't go through all of it. We'll just do as much. Psalm 51. It says, Psalms 51:1, have mercy upon me, O God, according to thy loving kindness, most high. According unto the multitude of thy tender mercies, blot out my sin or transgression. To wash me thoroughly from my iniquity and cleanse me from my sin. We all need it. 3, for we acknowledge our transgressions and our sins are ever before you. Or my sins are always, or they're before me. 4, against you, Most High, and you only have I sinned and done this evil in thy sight, that thou mightest be justified when you speak and be clear when you judge. Let me hear what you're saying, and when you judge, that I'm clear about what I've done. Let me understand. 5, behold, I was shapen in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me, meaning that we find ourselves doing these things. We were birthed into this world, so naturally we're living like what we were birthed into. And so the man is really saying, have mercy on me. I was born in this, so this is all I really know. And that's what we've been doing. And so the Most High is calling his children back. This world coming to the place that it's coming into is breaking us down to get us back to the basic, back to the Most High. Pay attention to 6. It says, behold, thy desire is truth. It says, I desire truth in my inward parts, and in the hidden parts, thou shalt make me to know wisdom. We are now at a place of where people are really seeking truth, and they're asking to know and have wisdom. 7, purge me with hyssop, that I may be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Let's stop right there on 7. Circle 6 and 7. The word purge means rid and remove. Rid and remove. I looked up hyssop. Buy some hyssop. Hyssop is good for children that have colic. They tell you don't give children hyssop, but it's in the Bible. And it's good for colic. Who else got colic? A grown person? No. Make them some hyssop. And it's good for respiratory issues. Asthma, sore throat, a common cold. And I wrote down something else in the colon. Now, if it's good for asthma, meaning breathing problems, good for asthma. Buy you some hyssop. And it says right here that purge me with hyssop. Why did he call it purge? Hyssop removes and red. That's a little sidebar. It says, I shall be whiter than snow. Make me to hear joy and gladness, that the bones which thou hast broken may rejoice. Hide thy face from my sin and blot out all my iniquities. Create in me a clean heart, O Most High, and renew a right spirit within me. Cast me not away from thy presence, and take not thy Holy Spirit from me. Pay attention to 12. Restore, restore unto me the joy of our salvation. Restore your salvation, the joy of it back to me, and uphold me with thy free spirit. Then will I teach the transgressors their way, and sinners shall be converted unto thee. Deliver me from blood guiltiness, O Most High, thou Most High Yah of my salvation. And my tongue shall sing thy righteousness. Most High, open thou my lips, and my mouth shall show forth thy praise. For thou desirest not sacrifice, or else I would have given it. Thou delightest not in the sacrifice of the Most High are a broken spirit, a broken and a contrite heart. O Most High, and will thou do good in thy good pleasure unto Zion. Build thy walls of Jerusalem. Then shall thou be pleased with the sacrifices of righteousness, with the burnt offering and a whole burnt offering. Then shall thou offer bullocks upon thy altar. We're going to finish here, and basically what it's saying, that even though we didn't know what we needed to do, and we're coming back to what the Most High intended for man and woman, family, his children, from the very beginning. We're coming back to that. So don't get upset with what's happening in the world. It has to purge itself, and it's got to, the Most High, his people, his children got to cleanse themselves. They got to come away from accepting the lies and the fool's gold, right? And come back to the place that he wanted us to come back to. We need to be clean. We need to be cleansed from the things of this world. And purging is not a pretty process. And so, yes, there's some pain in this, because we're coming up out of being married to a system that we were birthed in this, but this was not the end all or the end of it or the purpose that the Most High intended for us. Yes, we went through the curse, and we had to. That's what we got into when we started serving false things and false gods according to his word. And so therefore, there's a purging process happening now. The earth is purging, and Yah's people are coming back into the right relationships and the right positions of where he created us. Coming back to eating right, coming away and going back into the natural medicines, and coming back to wisdom and removing education. They making it hard for people now. I didn't know. This girl is so. You think the Most High didn't know? He's bringing us back to where he wanted us to be. Let's pray. Father God, thank you for each and every person on here today. I bless you, Father, for the word. And I pray that that people were able to hear something. And I know it's a lot to think about. And I feel like I gave a whole lot of information. And, I always say, take the part that the Most High tell you, and then the rest, I don't want to say throw it out, but just look at the word and see how it all measures up, and does it mirror? Does it look like, is it what the word says? Not look like, because that's a duplicate. I want to know, is it, when you look at this word, hallelujah, is it the word? And if it is the word, then you should not throw it out. And for the most part, all of it came out of his word. And he's calling his people back to holiness and righteousness. He does not want you walking and being married to the world and being in a bed with the enemy. He wants you to come out of that. You was in that for over 200 years. And those that are strangers, you didn't know in the bed with the enemy. God is making his people wise. But now look at the Father, and he's giving you your word, the word for you to understand, and no longer taking it from the man's hand or him spoon feeding you sugar to make you excited and whatever it is that he needed it for his agenda. But the Most High is teaching his people. And he don't want you broken. I know he's going to use your broken heart because it's going to hurt. It hurts to come up out of stuff. No, it hurt the slaves. They were so used to being given what they were given and traumatized that even coming out was still a process because they had to learn how to live without somebody else throwing them scraps. A lot of people died, even Egypt. A whole generation died because they didn't want to let go of being free to the enemy. They didn't get out of the bed with the enemy. They didn't want to because the enemy said certain things for them, meaning maybe convenience. Even if it did cost them too much, even if they were slaves. But at least they knew they was going to eat, even if it was pig lips and chitlins or whatever. Even if they had to go pick the cotton and stay in a shanty. Did you know that you could get so used to being treated terrible and foul that you are just excited to whatever you get? And when the Father brought them out into the wilderness, the children, the Israelites, began to complain. Because no longer and it hurts when the system pull the rug away and you got to learn how to stand on your own, and people begin to become afraid. And they would rather run back in the enemy's hand and jump back in the bed with that which is abusive and neglectful and harsh and uncaring, even to the in their lives and maybe their souls. My prayer today is that you would embrace what the Most Stop running and trying to get things back the way they used to be because you was a slave. And that's not where the Most High had you, and nor did he want you there. Look at what it's cost us. Our children, our peace of mind, our health. And a lot of us, like I said, our soul, our lives and our very souls. May the Most you and add to this word and embrace what he's doing. It is for your good. Be blessed and have a wonderful night. Walk in courage, boldness, and faith. And do not lose hope. Put all your trust in the Most High, and he shall carry you. God bless y'all, and have a wonderful night. Thank you, Miss Stu. Bye, brothers and sisters. Bye.